So I believe Paul Hansen called you, right? The director from the Arztkammer Trier?
Yeah.
So, I'll be honest with you, my treatment in Germany as a whole is horrendous.
I can to you here, then you don't have to speak so loud.
My treatment in Germany is horrendous, regardless of the employment, doctors, hospitals. Horrific. I was a high-profile guy who came here, $6 billion in North America, came here with very little. This all started in Munich with Sky SAP. So not only have I been treated medically horrendously in this region, it was also the same in Munich, in Hanover. When I went to the Arztkammer in Trier, I showed him your letter. He phoned you. He said you had one response from the 3 hospitals. I now have a lawyer against these 3 hospitals. He said it makes absolutely no sense from an Arztkammer perspective to take this long to get responses, at least one response from a medical unit. And also the thing is, I've just come from a doctor today who has been, I got physically attacked very badly, hence I ended up in those hospitals, right? The reason I got physically attacked was 1 week before I was supposed to go to the Arbeitsgericht in Munich to get my money back from Sky and SAP. And ever since then, it's been non-stop attack. Medical, employment, job center, anywhere. So I'm now down to 0 money and I'm getting treated like a refugee. What I would say is that when he actually spoke to you, and he spoke to you twice, he said it makes no sense what you're saying, because he said if we were the Arztkammer in Trier or for this region, I can't remember the full term. Rheinland-Pfalz. It would never take us this long to get at least an initial response from a hospital. This makes no sense. And I said, did Pia at least tell you who the response was from? And he said, she will not give me any information. You need to go there in person. So I now have a lawyer in Trier for these 3 hospitals. But I'm now getting more and more and more concerned because the attack that happened, the police have closed the case. When I have medical evidence, I have German witnesses. And the doctor who had a lot of my evidence here in Dusseldorf has now kicked me out of his office, who has all my medical evidence, because I used too much paper. With a completely valid German AOK card. There is something very weird going on, and it is dragging out and out and out and out. My health is getting worse. And he said, purely from an Arztkammer perspective, the length of time it's taking Northwest Rhine region Arztkammer to do anything, it makes no sense.
I think you have not the right idea what the Arztkammer is doing. We don't control hospitals. We only have to control the medical doctors, and we cannot investigate in a big thing. Our only opportunity is to send your letter to the doctors, and we ask them to say how they saw this situation.
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying is purely on a time scale perspective. I asked Paul Hansen, the director at Arztkammer, I said, this is when the initial engagement was, because I forwarded him all the emails that I sent to you.
Yes.
He said, this time scale, he said, we work more like an ombudsman. I know what an ombudsman is, right? You basically investigate to see if there's any malpractice, how much power you have, I don't know. That's why I've got my own lawyer. But he said, purely on a time scale perspective, what's going on here makes no sense from an Arztkammer perspective.
Yes, but it is our kind of working.
Nobody said any Arztkammer.
When we have, yes, but this is a discussion we don't have to do.
Why is
we are working like this, and
can I see the letters? So when you send a letter, you don't say, can you respond by a certain date?
No, you cannot.
So this could go on for 5 years and they just don't respond.
I wrote you a letter that we are ready with this whole situation.
I didn't get that letter.
I'm sure that we send it to you.
I wouldn't travel 400 kilometers if I had got it.
What you don't understand is that if you send us a letter that something went wrong with a doctor, we open a file. Yes. But you are not part of this file. This is only a file between the Arztkammer and the medical doctor, and you will never know what we did with the doctor. This is.
So I open a case and I never find out a conclusion.
Yes.
I'm never given a conclusion.
Yes. This is because.
So what's the point of me opening the case?
Yes, this is that we know there is a problem with one of the medical doctors, and when it is a real problem, we could make a big file with
Can my lawyer get access to your documents?
No. Yes.
My lawyer.
Wait. No. No, because you are not part of this file. You say us there is a problem. There is a doctor which has behavior what's not okay, and we open this file, but it's only a thing between us and the medical doctor. You are not part of this file.
So why would you never tell me that instead of making? No one ever told me that. No one
because
ever
of privacy reasons.
No, but
yes,
what I'm
but
saying
it
is,
is
1 second please.
Yes.
What I'm saying is at no point did anyone tell me what Pia just said, as in you send the case and that's it. We never contact you again. No one told me that. So I'm waiting there, writing email, what's going on, not getting a response, not knowing that that's what you do.
But that's not
sure
right.
Pia responded.
First I responded to in the emails, and then I said you have to write everything to us on a paper with a sign.
That's right, which
yes.
I did.
And after this you got a letter that we have everything, and in this letter we wrote that you are not part of this file, and that
I got the letter. I showed it to my lawyer. I also showed it to Paul Hansering, and at no point did he say it says anything like that in the letter. I wouldn't travel 400 kilometers just to
wait 1 minute.
Right. Because if you send something that I don't have, really, why would I travel 400 kilometers just for a joke?
You just came here by chance to see
No,
someone?
I went to Paul Hansering, and I also went to my doctor over here who's connected to the legal case, and now he's disengaged. I'm going to have to write another Arztkammer, but at no point did anyone explain the procedure to me of you write to the Arztkammer, we investigate, and we tell you nothing.
But you have a lawyer.
No, but I only just got a lawyer.
Okay, so
within the last couple of weeks.
Okay, so he should know the procedures. And
yeah, but the thing is, he's contacting the Arztkammer in Trier to find out what you guys are doing.
Okay, but we are not connected with the Arztkammer in Trier.
So when I give you all this confidential information, right, it's then a dead end.
For you, it's dead end. If you want to open a real procedure, you have to go to see the courts.
Right. So if this ever gets to the courts against those hospitals, right, do we get access to the North Rhine region file of what you did?
Here?
Yeah.
No.
What is this, like a bank?
Yes.
So that basically protects all the doctors.
There are two.
Absolutely, it does.
There are two possibilities that when we ask the doctors for an answer,
yep.
Sometimes they don't answer. So
right.
We have to ask again, and sometimes this depends a few weeks. So I'm not sure if we have the last answer and if you got the last letter, but I asked for...
I definitely did not get a letter because I showed what you sent me to also Paul Hansering in the director, and also I now have a lawyer, and they both said this doesn't state, and so that I wouldn't travel 400 kilometers just for a joke, really. And honestly, the way this is set up, and obviously you didn't set it up, you just work here, this is totally set up to protect the doctors, because if there is mass malpractice, then it never gets out and I never know. That can't be right on an ethical level.
No. That's not an ethical question. You are at the wrong place here.
Mm.
If you want to sue a doctor, you go to the courts. You don't go to Arztkammer.
So what is the purpose of Arztkammer? What is your purpose?
The authority that controls the doctors. But we are not. We don't act within an individual way like a court.
But what powers do you have? Let's say I gave you those 3 cases, right, and you found them all to be legit.
Then we can revoke the profession
of the doctor. And I just never know about it.
Yes.
But that just on a legal level, my lawyer has seen what I sent you and a little bit more. And he said, this is like horrendous. You can't go to a hospital and not register someone and give 4 medical opinions, right? So let's say whatever this goes to court, I don't understand legally how your information or your investigation would not. I'm just looking at it from a North American perspective, right? You've obviously will have gone through an investigation of did they, didn't they, what happened. I mean, one of them is a no-brainer because you can't go into a hospital anywhere in the world and not register someone. You can't do that. Let's say someone one of the doctors lost their job for that. If I'm going to court against that guy for that sole purpose, I don't understand how my lawyer or someone should not be given access to that, because then your evidence is critical.
Yeah.
How is it not? You've done an investigation on a medical level to see whether this guy practiced correctly, and if your investigation matches what I said, and I'm taking this guy to court,
but
surely
our department, we don't have a look how they are acting in the medical way. We are only looking how was their behavior. Did they everything like they have to do in the contact with the patient? And if you want, this is.
So you act on the behavior, not the medical side.
The medical side is another department here inside the Arztkammer. This is die Gutachterkommission. If you have a case where you say the treatment was not the right treatment
but
for my, what?
In the information that I sent, I thought you were the only one that was dealing with it, and so there was 3 complaints, right? One of them was a behavioral, the other 2 were medical.
Yes.
But should I be talking to them?
If your opinion is that your treatment was not the right thing, and you are now more ill than before,
right,
then they can have a look if everything was right.
But that's what it is. That was really my major complaint.
But this was not what you wrote to us.
No, it was. I sent all the evidence in the emails of basically medical malpractice. I got hit with a baseball bat in the head. The MRI wasn't done properly. Wrong medication. I now have massive problem. I can't see out my eye. I have massive problem in my neck, and I have concussions absolutely every single day. The doctor that I've just come from, Alexander Lazarus, has all the medical evidence and is now saying, I'm not seeing you anymore because you use too much toilet paper. That was really my medical push.
Super, danke.
The behavioral side was the one in the urinary clinic where they acted extremely unprofessional. The 2 were medical malpractice. They're the ones who should be dealing with the medical malpractice. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, but I wrote all your emails and I wrote everything, but that you were hit by a baseball, I have heard the first time now.
It's in the emails. It's police reports. This is what I'm talking about. This has gone on 4 or 5 months, and it's the first time I've really spoke to you. If there was any confusion,
yes, but
someone should have told me. I didn't even know the fact that that's the only deal with on the behavioral part. There's only one hospital was behavioral. The other 2 were medical. Wrong medication.
So, this is the reason why you didn't get a letter.
It wasn't sent
yet, because we don't have all letters from the doctors we wrote.
Which ones do you have?
This is a what?
Which 2 do you have?
I cannot say it to you because
okay,
it's not
so the thing is, right, so this is not being dealt with correctly, right? Because
but this is not a letter to us. This is a letter to the hospital in Cologne. And this is the point. If you have a problem with the hospital, something went wrong when you were there and you didn't have a problem with the doctor, then you have to go to the hospital or you have to go to the Bezirksregierung. This is in Germany.
No, but you know what?
Germany is so difficult.
But no one told me anything. I sent you those emails and you disengaged.
No, but this is the work of a lawyer. You see a lawyer and he will help you.
Sir, she just told me on a medical level, if it's you deal with behavioral, if it's medical, it goes to the other department. The emails that I sent, 2 of them are on a medical basis. No one contacted me from that department.
Yeah, okay, but we don't contact the department because
so why don't you tell me? How am I supposed to know?
Well, it's written on our homepage how the procedures work. So that's how it works.
Yeah, but it's in German. I can't read.
Yeah, sorry.
A little bit of common courtesy, sir.
We can't give any information in any possible language. It's in Germany here, so you get the information in German.
So why can Pia write to me an email in English?
Yeah, because she's able to speak English.
So why not tell me about the other department?
We are not allowed technically to give one file to another department.
No,
This
I
is
would
not-
just say, just advise me. Oh, by the way, Barry, considering 2 of your cases are medical, you might want to contact this department. That's not difficult.
Okay.
So, this is the reason why we didn't this is what you wrote to us in German.
Well, I basically told one of my friends what happened, and he wrote it in German
Yes,
because I can't
this
write
is
it.
what you, yes, but this is what we're working with. And
Right.
this is only there, you only say that the behavior of the doctors were not okay and that what they did with you in the hospital was not okay. So we
So
can...
there's nothing medically there,
No,
you're telling me?
there's nothing medical inside. The only medical thing is that you say that they didn't do a CT scan because of your headaches. This is the only thing what is medical.
There's nothing in there about not taking out the IV drip, wrong medication.
No. And this is the reason why we didn't know that you have a problem with your head that depends now. And because this is what we work with. This is what your friend wrote. And this is, I can translate it to you, your card was not registered. This is not our problem. This is a problem of the hospital.
But it needs to be
You
investigated.
say
You can't
4
do that
doctors
anyway, right?
didn't give you
No.
medical help, but you didn't say who didn't give you this help. Nobody made a diagnosis. Racistic comments from...
So not making a diagnosis is not a medical. Is not a medical. I mean, you know I can't
Yes, but
speak a right
I cannot.
German, right?
But this
I'm
is
relying
like...
on him. So you basically said I'm not going to accept it unless it's in German. You know I can't read, write, or speak German. I got a friend to translate that. I can't obviously. When he writes that down, I don't know if it's right or not. But purely on the basis of someone not making a diagnosis is a medical.
Yes, but it is not. You have to make. You have to tell us a concrete problem. You cannot say they didn't do a medical diagnosis. Then I ask the doctor,
So
and
how
he
do I
says,
do this
"Yes,
now,
I
then?"
did a medical diagnosis. My medical diagnosis was a headache. That's it." So, and then
So
it's
what
the
do-
end of my possibility of investigation.
So
I
this
cannot.
whole investigation has been wrong, man. How do I do it again with really what happened? I can't see out my eye. I have massive head, neck issues. The registration thing anywhere in the world, you can't do that anywhere in the world to get 4 diagnoses from a doctor in a hospital and never be registered. You can't do that in Guatemala. You can't do that anywhere.
Yeah, the
Yes,
problem
but-
is this is not our problem.
No,
This,
but you would investigate that.
No.
Why is that?
No.
That's
We-
completely illegal.
No, this is, you have to go to the authorities that watch over the hospitals. This is not our problem, simply.
Yeah,
So
this
why
is-
don't you tell? Like the lack of communication is unbelievable, really.
I said it to you in my first email that all these problems are a problem of the hospital and not of the Arztkammer. And you sent me back that this is ridiculous and make no sense. And I can only say, but
you know
this
what?
is
You
like
know what?
this, sorry.
Look, if I'm a project manager and I have a senior person, director to me, they'll be like, don't come to me with a problem, come to me with a solution. At no point was anyone giving me a solution. This is the problem you have, but I'm not giving you a solution. This is the problem. These are really the departments you need to go to. That's how you work it.
I'm sure that I wrote it to you on the first.
As an example, this medical one over
We
here.
have to inform you that we do not control hospitals or other medical institutions. If you want to give a complaint about a hospital, you have to write to the management of the hospital or to the Bezirksregierung. The Bezirksregierung is a supervision of hospitals and institutions. This was
Okay.
my email to you, my
Okay.
first email to you.
Okay,
And
so-
now you say never say
No,
never
but
say
the whole,
said
but the
it
whole
to-
point was those 2 told me to contact you. I contacted them before you.
Yes, but this is then we didn't do the fault because I saw that you have a problem with the registration and all this stuff, and this is a
It
problem
is a
in the
behavioral
hospital.
thing. Behavioral, but it is medical as well. Because the thing is, with this concussion, because I've had several, I could die. It's that serious.
But do you have a diagnosis of this? Do you have a CT scan or an
Yes,
MRI?
I have MRTs. I've had my left eye scanned several times, and they've all said I now have a problem with my cornea and my retina, and I have a blind spot in my eye that I can't see.
So, and who did the first fault that they didn't do the right diagnosis? Which doctor?
Well, I've been seeing numerous doctors. I have doctors in Munich, in Würzburg, in Cologne, and the thing with the hand, the hand infection. 3 doctors sent me to that hospital saying this is getting extremely dangerous. I went there. They didn't register me. They gave 4 false diagnoses. I then had to take an emergency train to Aachen, who then fixed my problem. Within 10 seconds, they said, plastic surgeon, IV drip, monitor this guy 24 hours. Yet for 1 month in a Cologne hospital, I saw 4 doctors who didn't register me and give me 4 wrong diagnoses. That's medical.
Yes.
And now I have a massive problem with I'm on constant painkillers, right? I'm on constant medication that goes in my eye. I have to rub cortisone in my hand every day. This could go on for the rest of my life, and especially with a concussion, I don't know how much damage is done. I could be a vegetable in 10 years. It's very dangerous.
Yes, but this we cannot.
So the other department in here who deals with the medical side, can I talk to them today while I'm here?
No.
Why?
You have to, no, because you need a date. You cannot come inside the Arztkammer and everybody is coming to you and...
So what? Everyone's coming to me. It's all about Barry, right? This has been dealt with horrendously, honestly. So I don't have a lot of money to get here because all my everyone is screwing me at this point. So what do I do? Really, what do I do?
Now you have a lawyer.
Yes.
Is it true?
Yes.
So he will help you with everything. He's there for you. He's the instance that will help with every problem.
So the medical...
So, let us make the first step. Because your lawyer, he sent a letter to the university hospital in Cologne.
He sent one to all 3.
And this is from which date?
Probably about a week and a
Yes.
half ago.
He said that they have to send all your medical files till the 4th of June.
He sent a letter to all 3 hospitals, not one.
Yes, but we have only this one. We are not the hospital. I don't know why we got this. I don't know. So we can give you, or we can send to your lawyer the address of the Gutachterkommission, and when you have all your files from the hospitals, because you need every file you can get.
Well, this is what I'm saying. I just went to my doctor today and he refused to give it to me. I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to do that.
So, but if you have everything, then you can give it to the Gutachterkommission and they can make an...
They're the ones that deal with the medical side.
Yes.
Is it possible that I can get an email that I can send my medical evidence to them to get it started now?
No, because they need your files from the hospital. They cannot was heißt beurteilen? They cannot say anything about your complete file when they don't have the information from the hospitals. You know what I mean? They need the information.
So let's say I never got a lawyer. Let's say I didn't have a lawyer and I was by myself, which I was for a long time.
Then you have to bring the files from yourself to this Gutachterkommission. This is one of the things they write on their internet page. Okay. What you have to bring them that they can...
Is it possible to get the information or the web page or how I can contact them?
Yes, I can write it to you.
Okay. And so then this engagement, well, it feels like a total waste of time to even told the Arztkammer, I'll be honest with you, but I have another complaint about, this guy that I just went to get all my medical evidence for the fact, with a concussion, you have to be very careful because I've had 4 or 5 from sports in Canada. This wasn't dealt with correctly because it was the wrong medication, MRT. I could be a vegetable in 10 years. I don't know because you can't physically see it, your brain, right? The problem that I can't see out my eye now, I mean, that's seriously...
Can I see the MRI?
I don't have it with me. But I can see the 2 eye doctors, the MRI basically shows if it's bleeding or not. What they actually said in the hospital is you have a massive concussion, but they gave me the wrong medication. It actually got to the point they forgot to take the IV drip out. I had to get a friend who was a nurse to take the IV drip out.
Yes, but
that's ridiculous.
Yes, it's ridiculous, but it happens.
But it's dangerous.
Yes, but it's not.
What if my friend
It's
had
not
an
a drama. It's you.
You're acting like it's. I'll be honest with you. If that was in North America, you'd have your ass sued like nothing.
Yes, but we are not in North America. This is.
So it's okay for someone to walk around with an ID.
No, it's not okay, but it could happen. I was working for a medical doctor for many years, and it don't have to happen, but it happens.
In the 3 hospitals I went to, the same thing happened 3 times. That's
yes, but
unbelievable.